Holidays by nature are very stressful times to deal with because you have to do so many things. You have to think about gifts, you have to think about presents, you have to think about arranging parties, dinners, and whatnot. And these times are made 10 times worse, 10 times more stressful by the narcissist's unwanted presence. So the narcissist might try to hoover their way back in. They might try to lure you in through gift giving, through apologies and whatnot. And that is why it becomes more than important to know what they can possibly do, what you need to be aware of, and how you can strategically protect yourself from their mind games during holidays. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we're going to talk about 5 strategic ways to protect yourself from the narcissist during holidays. If that sounds interesting, please make sure to subscribe and push the bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Also, before getting started, I'm really curious to know, has the narcissist already showed up in your life during these times, during this time of the year? If yes, in what ways? Drop your experiences in the comments below, because your experiences could potentially help hundreds of survivors to know exactly what to expect from the narcissist and how to possibly navigate their mind games. Let's get started with number 1. Do not take the bait. As simple as that sounds, it's not easy, because a narcissist might show up in your life. You might get a message from a random number with love-filled words and quite thoughtful message where the narcissist is pretending to show care for you. They just want to know where are you in your life now after so many months and after such a long duration. They want to check in. They want to just make sure you're okay. They want to probably share this moment of gratitude with you. But you have to be very careful, because no matter what the presentation looks like, there is always a hidden agenda. Sooner or later, if you were to accept this bait, if you were to take this bait, sooner or later the narcissist is going to show their true colors and you are going to regret your decision. These messages can look like, I love you, I want to see you one last time, I want to check in with you, I want to catch up, blah blah blah. Just imagine all the possibilities. And you might think maybe all this time has given them the opportunity to look within, and probably they have realized the things that they have done in the past that they shouldn't have done. And now is the time to kind of reconnect. Now is the time to rekindle that love. But you are absolutely wrong if you think that way. It is just a hook. They know that at this point, it's quite easy to bypass your critical factor. It's quite easy to make you think otherwise and to take benefit of the doubt. So they show up. Your responsibility is to reject all the bait. You have to remember, if it is a snake, it's always going to be a snake, no matter how many layers of skin it sheds. But I have nothing against reptiles, just a way of saying that their nature is not going to change ever. No matter how long the time goes by, no matter what happens in their life, in your life, it does not matter. It is just a way to gather that supply from you. It is just a way to show up and to grab you by the neck. And that is what you must not let happen. Number 2, do not react and disengage. Your ex, if you share your children with them, might complain about the dinner, might complain about your children's health, might talk about how bad their time was at your place and how they did not enjoy their holidays and how you ruined everything. Just understand that this is a bait, because this is already a very stressful time. You are already activated in the system. There are so many things to take care of. Presents for the children, the Christmas tree and all that stuff. You have to be very careful, because they would try to find flaws in things that you do, and you might unconsciously take it personally. You might start doubting your actions. You might start questioning your behaviors, and that is where you have to take a step back and ask yourself, during the rest of the year, who was the parent that was the most present? Who was the parent who took care of almost all the needs of the children, financial or otherwise? Of course, it was you. They were absent. They were there just for the name, but in reality, they just took advantage of you. They just weaponized parenthood against you. So no matter what the attack looks like, however they try to attack you, always disengage. Do not go into explanations, do not go into confrontations, do not go into justifying things, because it would be better to bang your head against a wall than try to communicate with a narcissist Why? Because there is no possibility for communication. You could just leave the conversation by saying something like, interesting, you're entitled to your opinion, I see what you're saying, but my reality is different, and so on. Do not engage. Do not fight with the pigs, because the pigs are going to enjoy it, and you are going to get dirty, and you are going to get exhausted in all of that. Number 3, do not agree to things that you do not want to do. Your narcissistic mother might use your aunt to convince you to attend the family dinner, to be in the gathering, and this is what you know is going to be extremely triggering for you. It is going to bring out and up all the trauma that you have tried so hard to work on. During the year you have maintained no contact. You have tried to stay away from them, but right now they are just trying to approach as a family, as a presenter of the family who just wants the family to be together during these times, because these times are about getting together and so on. They might use all these principles, all these beliefs around holidays to bait you, but you have to understand and you have to check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I really willing to do that? Do I truly want to do that? How do I feel about going there? You have to visualize. You have to kind of step into that occasion to really know how it feels to be there. And I'm sure if you imagine yourself to be with your narcissistic family, your narcissistic mother, or whosoever the narcissist is in your family, you would definitely feel anxious already just by the imagination. Now, think about doing it in reality. How would that feel like? So you have to remind yourself and not be taken over by the guilt, because guilt tripping and a sense of obligation in combination is what the narcissist uses to make you feel like you gotta do this for family, you gotta do this because it's that time of the year, everybody is doing it, everybody has a family to go to, and I kind of have to do it because that is how society works. No, you do not have to give a damn about how people work, because things are so flawed when it comes to the cultural constructs and how things are, structured. That is a different topic to talk about. Listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, listen to your feelings, and then decide what you actually want to do. Number 4, and the most important one in my opinion, do not accept any gifts or presents. One of the things that narcissists do is that they lure you in, they influence you through thoughtful gift giving and lavish spending. They might buy you a nice ring, a car, even, I don't know, anything that you can think of that could possibly move you and make you second guess your decision. They could go to any extent possible and imaginable when it comes to getting you back, making their way back into your life. So no matter what the presents are, how they look like, how lavish they are, how thoughtful they seem, please, without a second thought, reject them. You could politely do that by saying something like, I'm not accepting gifts right now. This is not what my life is aligned with right now. I really appreciate you doing this or buying this for me, but I cannot accept it. It's about boundary setting. If you do not want any presents from anyone, it's okay to reject it. It's okay to give it back, because there is a huge cost. You are accepting it at a big expense. Maybe you may not realize it or pay the cost right in the moment. It is coming for you. It would come for you later in the future, and you would not be able to stop paying the cost because you would feel obligated since you accepted the gift, since you accepted the present. So accepting the present or accepting the gift is like giving a key to them, to the narcissist, to your life again, and that key is used later to open the door, and you cannot stop. It's just something that just happens. Reject the gifts by politely saying, I don't want that, I don't need that, thank you so much. Number 5, an extremely, extremely important thing to remember. Do not isolate yourself. As children of narcissistic parents and as members of narcissistic abusive families, we tend to isolate ourselves because there is no one to go to. I have been there myself. I know how it feels like during special occasions, festivals, or holidays. It brings up a lot of sadness, a lot of bad, painful memories, because holidays with narcissists is like a trip to hell. You don't even have a single good memory to reflect. Maybe you resonate with that. If you do, let me know in the comments. So you tend to isolate yourself. You do not do things for yourself, which is what you gotta change now. If you have friends, go out with them, arrange dinners with them, see people. Do not sit in the room, because you are going to get triggered, and that triggering is going to bring up a lot of sadness, and that sadness could potentially trigger a sense of loneliness, a sense of emptiness, and that emptiness might cloud your judgment, and your emotions may take over, and you may break the no contact policy. It is during these times you have to practice no contact even more strictly, because you can make a mistake which could potentially ruin and destroy the rest of the new year for you. So you have to be very cognizant of that. You have to be really mindful of having that social support. As human beings, we cannot be completely self-reliant. We can be independent, but there is a healthy level to independence. We cannot just fulfill all of our needs on our own. That is not possible. That's not how we are wired. You need connection. You need to experience connection in whatever capacity you can. If you don't have friends, maybe see your therapist. Whosoever is in your life that you see as a potential source of connection, surround yourself by that. Do not isolate yourself, which is very, very important, because isolation could trigger loneliness, and that loneliness could take you back to the dungeons of darkness that you have already left. So these are the key points to remember in a nutshell. Just trust yourself, follow your intuition, do not take the bait, do not believe in reconciliation, do not get into the arguments, do not explain yourself, do things that are separate from the narcissist, that are just for yourself, for your children, whosoever you care for. Just make this narcissist a small part of your life that just is not bigger than life. It just is something that you were in touch with, something that you had a connection with. Create this new world, new experience, new set of memories that you can rejoice later. That was it for today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it and found it helpful. And if you did, please let me know in the comments. Drop a like, share this episode, and subscribe. I'll talk with you in the next one. Until then, please let the healing begin.